is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 256 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
Word is up, and the year of lawsuits, 2023 in real estate, is up. This could be the first settlement of many. We'll see down the road. But according to Inman, Keller Williams to pay $40 million to settle cold call class action lawsuit as part of the deal. The real estate franchisor also agreed to create a task force to enhance compliance with the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. Now, this is a big deal for all agents. Could be a big deal for the cold call content here on BAM. Another one. We have another one. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. We have another cold call event coming up next week.
Yep.
Next Wednesday on the 25th.
Are you hopefully you're referring to the do not call list while you're doing those?
Live at 4. We always, and we said this on the expireds cold call last time. If you didn't see that, that was a 2-hour live event. Extravaganza of myself, Tom Toole, Danny Deals, calling expired listings for 2 hours. You can find the video in the live tab here on BAM. But we're doing another one. We're doing circle dialing. But we said at the beginning of that one, we'll say at the beginning next week, we'll say, hey, respect the do not call list.
Yeah.
Do not call people and do not call list. You know, somebody in the comments of the last event, Nicole, they're like, hey, Ricky Caruth, he actually kind of hints towards people calling the do not call us.
Oh,
people know I've debated Ricky. I will say I've never seen Ricky say this. I don't believe Ricky would say that. And my
it sounds like they were trying to poke you as a bear. Like they were trying to poke the bear a little.
Trying to get me to go after Ricky. I don't think Ricky's a big believer in making phone calls. So him and I align there.
Yes.
I don't believe he would tell you to call the do not call list. We would never tell you to call the do not call list. But let's see what happened with Keller Williams paying $40 million. That's a big chunk of money, Nicole.
It's a big chunk of money. Yeah.
$40 million to settle this class action lawsuit. So alleging the major real estate franchisors' agents made unsolicited, pre-recorded calls to consumers without their consent, including calls to consumers on the national do not call registry. So that's interesting. The unsolicited, pre-recorded.
Right.
You remember that app Slide Dial?
No.
A lot of agents were using this app. I tested it. I will admit I used it for maybe a couple of weeks. It's definitely before COVID.
Was it leaving a pre-recorded message like on a voicemail, or like they were listening to you pre-recorded?
What Slide Dial would do, you could put like 1,000 phone numbers in there. It would call everybody at once, and it would go straight to voicemail, and it would leave a voicemail. Or you could put like one number in and obviously do that as well. But you'd be like, what
so
the heck?
Phone wasn't even ringing. It just all of a sudden went to the voicemail.
Right. You'd look at your phone. You'd be like, I have a voicemail from Byron. Like, I didn't even, did he call me? I just have this voicemail. Did I not have service? And you just have a voicemail sitting there. So you could like literally call 1,000 people. Hey, just put this new property on the market.
Is that even really making calls? Then now you're waiting for them to call you back.
It's basically like a mass text message in a voicemail. It's
like an email.
Or it's saying, hey, I'm about to list this new property in your neighborhood. If you want to know what it is, call me back. Like, imagine how many callbacks you get.
That's actually a great strategy. But
right. So, what I actually liked about it better was like, because this is before houses were flying off the market. Like, you could use Slide Dial, call a seller. Hey, I'm trying to get you, I'm trying to reach you. Try to, have a conversation with you here about your home. But, it went right to voicemail.
But you weren't really.
You were, yeah. That is not a good technique. That's like for like that one seller that you just, anyway, sellers, that is not true. That was a joke. That was satire, Nicole. Okay. All right. Such calls violate the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, TCPA. So this Slide Dial type of call where you're just calling 1,000 people and just dropping a voicemail, these pre-recorded calls, obviously do not registry calls would violate Telephone Consumer Protection Act. This was signed into law in 1991, Nicole. So this isn't a new law.
Not new.
To protect consumers from unsolicited telemarketing calls, although expired Listings, like we talked about with the event, go check that video out, is a time-honored way to drum up business in real estate. Being on the receiving end of such cold calls is not always welcome. Exasperated homeowners sometimes even get local authorities involved to stop seemingly endless stream of agent calls. Okay, if you hired the right agent to begin with, you maybe not get those calls. Or if you're on the do not call registry, you might not get those calls. But anyways, Nicole, what I don't want to happen here,
Yes.
as we're breaking down the Keller Williams settlement on this class action cold call lawsuit, what I don't want agents to do is fall into the trap of, oh no, Keller Williams just got fined,
Now I can't make my calls.
$40 million. Now I'm not going to do cold calls because
Right.
cold calls are bad.
Bad.
If you're not making calls, especially with people who have opted into some type of lead form with you, be that a MailChimp form, be that Zillow, Realtor.com. If you're not calling the people that have opted into you 10, 15 times before reaching them and being able to showcase your value and create a relationship, you're making a massive mistake. Avoiding the phone calls because you see, and letting this be your excuse to not make phone calls, is putting yourself out of business. Okay, so let's be clear on that. Nicole, many lawsuits have been filed against brokerages and franchisers under the TCPA. In this particular case, plaintiff.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Nope.
Plaintiff.
It was a matter of time.
Beverly Deshay filed a class action complaint against Keller Williams in June 22 via the Circuit Court for the 19th Judicial Circuit in and for Indian River County, Florida. Attorneys Stefan Coleman and Avi R. Kaufman of Miami filed the case. Coleman and Kaufman have also filed other TCPA cases against Keller Williams and against other real estate companies, including Anywhere, of course, formerly Realogy. All right, so people can go back, and Nicole, I know you want to let everybody know how much people are going to be receiving. So I'll let you get to that in a second. You're fascinated by this, so
racket. Why even bother?
Just wait till you hear how much the defendant, or not the defendants. I'm sorry, the class
consumer,
action, are going to receive from this. Okay, so you can still make a claim. Okay, by doing so by March 1st, according to this website that's linked in the Zinman article. So you can make a settlement claim. So this number may go down if more people make claims. In order to be eligible, potential claimants must have between May 2nd, 2014 and December 12th, 2022, and without their consent, received 2 or more calls or text messages made by or on behalf of Keller Williams or any Keller Williams affiliated franchisees, market centers, realtors, agents, vendors, blah, 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 blah. But you must have appeared on the do not call registry for at least 31 days. Or that appeared on internal do not call list of Keller Williams, okay, received 1 or more calls or text messages from KW or its affiliates using an artificial, so this is that slide dial app or others, or pre-recorded voice or a cloud-based digital platform, and or received 1 or more calls made using an auto dialing system from Keller Williams or its affiliates. Auto dialing, okay, interesting. Mojo, Vulcan 7, okay. Hey, listen, Mojo, Vulcan 7, they follow the do not call as long as you follow it and don't add more names into that. So interesting there. Love to know more information about that. But Nicole, how much money, now that Keller Williams has paid $40 million, are people going to receive?
$20. 20
each.
$20. Yes.
Okay. The settlement, which must receive final approval from court, notes that about 2 million people may be eligible to receive payments of up to
$20.
Up to. Nicole. You forgot the up to.
Sorry, my apologies.
That amount is a far cry from the $500 per violation and $1,500 per willful or knowing violation stipulated under the TCPA. But Nicole, this $40 million, guess what? 10 million of it, 10 mil, is going to go to attorneys. They can't exceed the 10 million. The attorneys can't exceed the 10 million. But they can get 10 million.
Yeah, I mean, they're the winners in this case.
They're always the winners. This is why this is a joke, okay? Consumers, okay, are you that bent up that you got a couple phone calls? By the way, listen, if you're on the do not call registry, I get it. You're probably bent up.
Yeah.
But, are you really going to get after that $20? I mean, listen, what you did was you got Kaufman and the other person there, Kaufman and
Very wealthy.
Deshay,
Yeah.
or no, Deshay was the
Ari.
consumer.
Yeah, Ari.
Coleman and Kaufman. Yeah. Yeah. Ari Kaufman and Stefan
Avi.
Coleman.
Yeah.
You got these guys $10 million is what you did.
Yeah,
That's
you
what you
did.
did.
Mhm.
You didn't do anything for $20. What are you going to do with that? You can't even get a cell phone case
I
for
wonder
your
if
phone.
I wonder you definitely can't get a cell phone case for $20, although maybe on Amazon. Um, I wonder though I wonder if the original woman, what's her name? I wonder if she's only getting $20 too.
Yeah, everybody's treated the same in a class
So
action as far as
just
as
even
far as I
her.
know.
So even Beverly Deshay, who
Yeah. Who starts the
instigated
deal?
this, is getting $20.
Because she's so bent up about this phone call. So she started it. She's very heavily involved. She starts it.
Yeah.
But once it becomes class action, I believe everybody gets the same amount of money. If you're an attorney listening to this, let me know in the comments
Yeah, please.
if I'm right or wrong. If you're not going to be deterred from making phone calls in your business, hit the thumbs up right now. By the way, just hit the thumbs up because it helps this video get to more people. And
Why not?
and Nicole, Overask, we were on a walkthrough last week.
Yeah.
Overask all of a sudden blew up this week.
Really?
They had a huge number
Good.
yesterday on their
So
pod.
we're taking credit for that?
We're not taking credit for that, but we're still in a competition with them. So this real word needs to go. It needs
Oh,
to go
okay.
nuclear. So hit the
Nuclear.
thumbs up, share this video with as many people as you possibly can. We want to beat Overask this week. They had an absolute nuclear episode yesterday.
Well, it sounds like they had a pretty good guest though, didn't they?
They had a great guest.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
You know, it's like they're cheating. They're always
They're
bringing in the
totally
guests.
cheating. They're like
You and
they're just slutting themselves out. They welcome anybody to their platform.
you and I, we just roll together.
We do. We
It's
keep
me and you.
our legs crossed, and we move on each week.
All right, Nicole, what would you say to agents other than continuing to make your calls? Any other big takeaway from you on the 40 mil? I know you got jazzed up about the
The
$20. Maybe you can put in for the
$20.
$20.
I don't even. Honestly, it sounds like it'll take more effort for you to even show that you are justified
Right.
in receiving that $20. I mean, it's a huge time frame. You're talking about what, 8 years that you need to go back and like
Yeah.
justify this $20. The amount of time, like who's going to be responsible for justifying all of that? I mean, the whole thing is the whole thing is a racket. But I mean,
What about
again,
anything for agents?
no, I mean, nothing that you haven't already said before. Like do what you're supposed to do, follow the do not call list, be respectful. I think again, a lot of agents here are complaining, at least on our team, about, them being rude. Again, let that reflect on them, not on you. Stay professional, even if they're not being nice and courteous. But yeah, I mean, keep pushing through, keep going, got to get some thick skin.
Have respect for people. When you call people from a place of truly being willing to help them, knowing
Yeah.
that you've got the goods that can help them, then you're not going to be offended when they're mad. Hey, listen, everybody's got a bad day. Everybody's been caught at the wrong time from somebody calling and soliciting business from them. Just acknowledge that. Hey, man, totally understand. Not a good time for you. Just coming from a place of help.
Yep.
If you need anything, let me know and move
Right.
on to the next call. Right.
Yep.
But don't avoid, especially people that are opting in, don't avoid calling any of them. Don't let this be your excuse to not do business in a market in 2023, which is going to see about half of the sales at peak over the last couple of years. So there's few sales out there. Go get your share of the pie.
Okay. What have you been saying? What's your word of the year?
Lock in, Nicole.
Lock in. There it is.
Lock in, and
I was trying to
don't be a racket. Don't get
present you with
yourself
the
sued.
opportunity.
Thank you. Lock in.
Lock in.
All right, MarketWatch. I haven't done a MarketWatch article in a long time.
You're all over the place. Now we're doing MarketWatch. Before we were all over. All right.
Probably for good reason we haven't done a MarketWatch article, but this one poses an interesting question. The percentage of homes with price cuts jumped from 7.1% in December to 13.6% this year. So we asked 7 economists and real estate pros, is now the time to buy before the spring rush hits? So that's the question. We'll go through their economists and real estate pros and what they think. The pros. They didn't ask. They didn't ask us, Nicole.
They didn't
Anyways,
they didn't ask you. No.
I think a better question would be, not is now the time to buy before the spring rush hits, but is now the right time to put your house on the market
Right.
before the spring rush hits? And to that, I would say
Yes.
100% yes, sirree.
100%. Yeah.
If you're thinking about selling your house in the spring, do it now.
Now.
We've seen a light switch since January 1 where the market, the demand is up. Mortgage purchase applications all of a sudden are up. In many markets, when you're talking about anything close to a median home price, you're seeing people make even multiple offers again. Okay, so if I'm a seller, I'm getting ahead of what looks like an inventory rise. Just this last week, Housing Wire reported that 1,339 homes increase in inventory across the country. That's not a big number, but it shows signs that as this spring market comes, as we're close to the peak of
Yep.
home prices, we're going to see more inventory come on. Home prices are expected to drop this year. So I want to be on the market now, be closer to that peak in home prices when there's less inventory than later when there's more inventory and there's
Absolutely.
lower home prices. So now's the best time to sell, but is it the best time to buy is what MarketWatch wants to know. Okay, so prediction number 1, home price cooling will continue until the spring selling season picks up. I would say that is true, Nicole.
Oh,
True.
we're doing that? We're saying true
True
or
or false?
false?
True or false? True or false from you?
Well, again, I mean, it sort of contradicts what it is that you just said.
No, no, no.
A little bit.
It's actually right in line.
Well, it's saying home pricing cooling will continue
It's gonna
until the spring selling season picks up.
it's gonna continue, but right now, as we sit here now, we're gonna
Yes.
continue to cool. So every single day that you wait,
Yeah.
you're on the lower side of that peak.
But what you're
Okay.
saying is if you put it on, there's less, you have less competition. So the ability to potentially get multiple offers and bid up is there.
You have less competition.
Much less, more,
You're
much
closer
less.
to, you're
Mhm.
also as a seller right now, and this is what agents need to be talking about at the dining room table.
For
You
sure.
are so much closer to the peak price right now today than you will be next week or the week after.
Yes.
And next week, the week after, 2 months from now, heart of spring, you're going to see a lot more inventory. And then you're
Right.
going to have 2 months of data of sliding prices, where right now the data is showing you that you're closer to the peak. So now to me, okay, so but as it relates to the buyer, because that's what
Yeah.
they're asking,
Yep.
okay,
Yep.
home prices are going to continue to cool. So this would say that a buyer should maybe
Wait.
wait,
Sounds like they
right?
should wait till spring. Yes.
Yeah, that's
And
what.
again, that's and in quite honestly, that's been the biggest kickback with sellers that you're telling to list now, is that they're concerned that buyers would rather wait to see what then
But
happens in the spring market.
But
Yeah,
what
but
are we
I
seeing across the country? Agents are all saying, "Whoa, activity's crazy right now." So
crazy.
the
Yeah.
buyers are there if the right property presents itself.
100%. Yeah. So again, that's just you being prepared for the rebuttal. What's your script in rebuttal? Because again, it is a lot of sellers' concern is it too early to put it on, and should I wait for spring when that's the typical time to buy a house? I think what's really great right now in the Northeast, at least in our area, we haven't had any snow. The weather has been very mild and 100% in our corner right now.
Yeah.
So, again, that's always why our January is, and even our February is typically so slow because there's so much damn snow. So, the fact that there isn't snow is definitely giving us a huge lead to the spring market. So, gotta take advantage of that for sure.
Capital Economics, as reported in Fortune, I talked about it on the hot sheet this morning, said that we probably have seen our bottom as it relates to declining home sales. Basically showing us that demand is starting to tick back up.
Yeah.
That's what we're hearing from agents all over the place. So you want to be on the front side of that demand as a seller for sure. So prediction number 2, seller concessions are making a comeback. Okay. I also talked to Housing Wire reported this recently. I talked about it on the hot sheet as well. And sellers are now far more willing to lower their prices. If they've been on the market in November and December, then yeah, I would say those sellers are willing to negotiate. They had a slow 2 months, November, December. How many times, Nicole, have you heard an agent say, "Oh my gosh, this property's been on the market in November. All of a sudden now, 2 weeks in January,
Yep.
even multiple offers."
Multiple
Okay.
offers. Yeah.
So now listen, I know multiple offers, not for every price point, not for every market. I don't want to overstate that either,
Right.
but what I'm saying is, you're certainly going to have some instances where homes have been on the market 2-3 months, which is abnormal in comparison to the last 2.5, 3 years. And those sellers are going to be willing to negotiate a little bit more. Prediction number 3, buyers will have more choices, more time to make decisions. If we continue to see an uptick in inventory, which many market talk about the Northeast hasn't seen that yet.
No, we haven't.
Then, you will get some more time. Nick Bailey has a quote in here. So in MarketWatch's defense, I guess they did talk to some pros in January with seasonality as new listings and home sales typically dip during this time of year. This month will likely be a continuing of good news for home buyers as the softening conditions have finally allowed them more choices and more time to make decisions. Buyers are also rewarded with flattening prices, and in some places, even a small decline in sellers are still enjoying many benefits of selling at a time when there just aren't enough homes for sale to meet demand. Nick Bailey, president and CEO of Remax Global, that would be MarketWatch. Prediction number 4, but overall low inventory issues still remain. We talked about that. Absolutely the case.
Absolutely.
Prediction 5, the housing market doesn't appear at serious risk of total meltdown. Completely agree with that.
100%.
Completely agree. It's not going to crash like 2008. We've covered that a whole bunch here on the Real World. Hit the thumbs up if you agree with that. This is nothing like 2008. Prediction 6, home price appreciation could be close to 0, and there's a small chance mortgage rates could go lower. I'm seeing, 10-year ticked up a little bit today. The Fed's going to have, a big meeting January 31st, which, we'll all be watching closely.
Yep.
Last week, we did see mortgage rates drop down. That was the low 6s. A lot of expectations.
I had a buyer just lock in at 599.
99. Oh, that sounds sexier than 6.01.
For sure. It's under 6.
599.
599.
We're going to be doing some Walmarting with the mortgage interest rates now. 599.
599. Faye was so excited to text it to me, so I was happy for him.
Hey, we want to get consumer confidence going in the right way. Lenders, let's go Walmart style on these mortgage rates. $5.99 all day long. You're going to see an uptick in mortgage applications if we do that.
Well, then people are going to at least go around and being like, I got under 6. That's the game.
6.
It's better than 6.
All right. Prediction number 6, home price appreciation could be close to 0, and there's a small chance mortgage rates, we just said that, could go lower. Number 7, barring an unexpected event, don't expect much change in the next month. Okay, there you go. All right, so rates should be low 6s, or you could get a Walmart special like Nicole did for her buyer at $5.99, depending on their qualifications. I don't think any of this is a racket. MarketWatch, way to go. You've been paying attention. We'll probably cover another MarketWatch article in, I don't know, 6 to 12 months. So there you go. Nicole, left, middle, right, the headlines in politics that you need to know as a real estate entrepreneur or real estate agent. What do we got this week?
We got one today from CNN. China records first population decline in 60 years.
Yeah, 2022 was the first decline in those 60 years. The population fell to 1.411 billion, down 850,000 people from the previous year. This is according to China's National Bureau of Statistics, announced during a Tuesday briefing on annual data. Obviously, they had fuzzy COVID data. I don't know if it's COVID related or what. They weren't overly sharing with their COVID data the last couple of years. So who the heck knows? It just might be an aging population that a lot of people have spoken about. And so, listen, China, there's been some reports lately that their economy is doing okay, which is going to be good for global recession fears in 2023. That's good news that right now China's economy is looking good. But when people look at this number, and they fast forward 10 years, China had that one kid policy for a long time, Nicole.
Yep.
I know Nicole loves her 3 kids, but that policy, there might've been a time in her life where she said, hey, that one kid policy, sign me up for it.
Sign me up for it.
When they're like
sign me up for it. Yep.
2 years old to 5, maybe. Anyways, China had the one kid policy forever. This stunted, obviously, this population growth. They thought population was going to get out of control. There's a lot of economists now that are looking at China and saying, whoa, they're going to have this sharp decline. They don't have a whole bunch of immigration, right? So there's not a lot of people like raising their hand to move into China for whatever reason. But they're going to if they have this sharp decline, their economy is going to take a huge hit. Okay, so whatever side of the immigration thing you are here in this country, we need to have a steady flow of people coming into the country or people having kids. Okay. There's been many, people that have argued, okay, more humans is not going to be what drives climate change. Okay. And that's a whole nother story. I don't want to touch
Whole nother
that.
left, middle, right.
What I'm saying is for the economy, we need to grow population over time in America. If we want to be the king of the castle as it comes to global powers economically, we will need people in this country. You want real estate values long-term to keep going up. You want your investments. You want, your business to keep.
Well, or you want your schools to stay open.
You want your schools to be funded. You want your schools to have the best of the best. We're going to need population. Now, there's definitely a debate. There's a legal way, there's an illegal way, all of that needs to be figured out. But we definitely need an increase in population because what they're projecting for China, if you read a little bit about this, is not good long-term 10 years as their population is expected to continue to plummet. Okay, so think about that as you think about immigration, as you think about people having kids, as you think about, a town or a location or a county that's growing in population as opposed to one that's declining. Same thing, right? If you're in a county that is declining in population at a rapid pace, you see what is happening to the businesses, the infrastructure, the ability to fund government, all of those things, as opposed to one that is adding people year over year. All right, Nicole.
So will you be adding to the population this year, Byron?
I've done my part.
You did it. You're committed.
2 kids.
That's it.
What do you mean? Adding?
I don't know.
I've done it. I've done what I could do.
That's it. All right. I thought maybe there's a decline. Maybe you'll head on over to China.
Adopt somebody in China?
I don't know. Throw a kid over there,
Oh, to China. I don't care about China. I mean, I care about China. I don't know if they're listening. Of course I care about China.
Of course they're listening.
But of course they are listening. That's right. Of course I care deeply. But I definitely care about the U.S. population.
Absolutely.
Maybe a little bit deeper. Okay, that was your real word, ending on a interesting note for
Very
sure.
Very interesting. Yeah.
And Nicole?
Yeah.
Let's get some people to hit the thumbs up. We need more people to see this video. I was happy for Overask to have such a great guest this week. Go check out that pod. Of course, it was really insightful. If you're trying to use Twitter, personalized videos, great podcast they did there. But let's get the real word to outperform Overask this week, even on their big number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Means Nicole's got to share the video too. Okay,
here we
go. That's the end of today's pod, Nicole.
That's the end.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate all of you. Keep it real. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.